Welcome back to the Celtic State of Mind. It's half-time at Tynecastle with Celtic leading Hearts by 2-0. That only tells half the story. I'm Paul John Dykes. I'm joined tonight by Brian Degnan and Laura Bradburn, who wants to talk for 15 minutes about the brilliance of Rio Hatate. But let's start off with Rio Hatate. That was Naka-esque in its delivery. That was tremendous, Laura. Over to you.
Do you know, I hear people talk about the phrase spraying the ball about, right? And I think it gets overused because, you know, they make one or two passes that are quite good or whatever. He can just pick anybody out on the field. Listen, this is why Jim on a Friday tells me I shouldn't be on the match coverage, right? Because I get myself far too excited, right? But the guy is... I was about to say a couple of names there, but I don't want another Paul McStay, David Turnbull on my hands, so I'm not going to say any names, but he's got a passing ability like no player I can remember in Celtic history. The fact that he's this kind of deep playmaker role, but obviously can hit a shot like the one that we saw tonight. The forward passes that he's putting chances on a plate for players like Jota, like Forrest coming in from the wide areas, and it's only a matter of time before him and Giakoumakis start to read each other and find their rhythm as well. He's just, honestly, I don't care if we've got a scouting department or not. If Ange just hands a list of players in to get signed every transfer window, I would just say go out and buy whoever he asks for.
3 or 4 every time. Laura, just to clarify, you're not saying he's a better passer of the ball than Bertie Peacock, who played in the 1950s. It's within your memory, the players you've seen, and I think that's fair comment. Now, in that first half, talking of passing, I seen one in the 14th minute, 18th minute where he passes to Jota, and it was reminiscent of the pass he played against Hibs where he misses the first man, gets to the second man. And again, a similar pass to Forrest. Outrageously good. I've called it Naka-esque, that strike, Brian. I'm doing the comparisons now. I mean, what was your thoughts on that first half performance and the goal particularly?
First half performance was excellent. One of the things I like about Hatate that I think we've not really spoke about is how well he receives the ball. See, when he gets the ball and just takes it in turns, it could shift the dynamic of a game spectacularly. Incredible energy as well. He looks really up for the physicality of it. It's a really strong guy. He's quite, he's not the biggest lad, but he looks very, very physically strong. Got to say, I think Bitton's been excellent. I think he's had a really, really good and a real captain's performance as well, by the way. The way he's sort of protecting the players, having a go. He's controlled aggression from once. He's not getting himself sent off, which is good so far. And I tell you, I've been really impressed with O'Reilly as well. I think he looks a player, very, very clever, very good passer, a lot of energy. And obviously the big man himself, Gigi, I think he was doing the cup tears to you, Paul, wasn't he? He must have had the pre-match. Great finish as well, I think. And it was onside as well, by the way. Shooter plays him on, no doubt for me. But yeah, overall, although in interest of balance, first 12 minutes we were poor, I thought. I thought we really, really struggled to get out for the back. There's a lot of sort of Starfelt to CCV back. You know, they was really shown for it first, and I think that was probably Hearts' best spell. They were doing a lot of pressing without any real endeavour. But after that, complete domination. And this is a team that are missing Turnbull, Kyogo, Callum McGregor, Maeda. If this is a weakened team, wow.
No, exactly. Now, I'm going to run through as many as I can. Comments coming through at half-time. Joe Porter on the YouTube. We are going to win the league. We look unplayable right now. New signings are hitting the ground running. A well contrast to last season. Love Ange. Chancer. Does that say that Joe loves Ange, or is Joe's account Angie's burner account? Because it says love Ange, so it's like he's signing it off. Well, you never know. Chancer. Hatate. What a strike. Barry McCluskey, 2 great finishes, fantastic performance by Bitton, like Brian says, and we'll talk about him. We'll also talk about O'Reilly, who is indeed looking class. We have Kookaburra, what a strike from Hatate, unbelievable. We will talk about Gigi, and Chuck Spading comes in, wonder if there'll be any hate towards Gigi. There was never any hate on Acsom. The boy played poorly against Alloa when it was commented on, and he's played very well this evening, and it's been capped off by a goal that I love to see, because it showed a wee bit of confidence, a bit of, panache, the way that he finished with that. That wasn't a player that seemed low on confidence, Laura.
No, the thing that I said before the game was, that the season that he had last season is not the type of thing that just kind of deserts you. And if those are the kind of cute wee finishes that he puts in, if those are the positions he's taken up, and if that's the delivery he's getting in the box, then I think too often in the modern game you can expect too much from a player in terms of what they offer the team. Sometimes you just need somebody who's there to put chances away, and that was a really neat wee move from Hatate out wide to O'Reilly and into Giakoumakis, who was there to stick it in the net. Sometimes each player needs to play a small, if significant part, and he definitely did that with that goal.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, you look at the cheeky finish, but it was a great move. Hatate starting that move out to O'Reilly, and then, the ball was excellent as well, really inviting. And he's played it on a play in between the defender and the goalkeeper. And, the comment was that you can only make the call on VAR, but I'm on Brian's boat here. I think that was definitely onside. So we've spoken about Gigi. That's going to fill him with confidence. Brian, there's no way he's heard of myself. That wasn't a jibe at me. Maybe somebody in the media is giving him a bit of a hard time or something, right? Bitton, I think, has looked totally composed. He's taking his time on the ball. He's turning defence into attack at times just by his composure, Brian, putting his foot in the ball, finding a pass. And then down the right-hand side, where he's forced a corner, I just thought that was outstanding play by Bitton, because you don't look at Bitton and think that he's got pace to burn, that he can take on men. But he knew that if he pushed it far enough, he's going to win a corner, which he actually did. And he's one of the really dependable players, I find now, under Ange Postecoglou. You know what? He might not be playing in a few weeks, but when he is playing, you trust him to be the captain.
Yeah, he's one of those players, you look at Ralston, you look at Rogic, and you look at Bitton, who've been transformed under Ange. I said actually a few weeks back that this is comfortably, I think, his best season in a Celtic jersey, 9 seasons in. I think it's been excellent tonight. I think it's a real captain's performance as well, because he's been protecting the players. I love the aggression for the team, actually. I love the... when the Jota scuffle with that, I nearly swore there, Devlin, when he was about the place, Taylor's reaction, Juranovic's reaction, big Gigi running over, Bitton controlling it. I love that aggression, that togetherness for the team, and it puts to bed. I said it today. I thought the narrative around Celtic not being physically or scared of the physicality was nonsense, and I think we showed that tonight. And just, I'm sure we're going to talk about him, but I need to say it. The guy who we've not spoken about, the magician, Jota, what a player. Like, he's just incredible. I don't like talking about him too much because my missus is convinced I've got a man crush on him. And I might have, because he really is a beautiful player to watch. He's incredible. And some of the stuff he was doing that first half. And the fact it just shows how good we've been is the fact that we're not really talking about Jota yet. Incredible.
Yeah. I know, you could have used the entire 15-minute show to talk about him. Chuck Spadina makes a good point, I think, the midfielder running the show. The reason I'm bringing this up is because that was the area of the park that we had a wee bit of doubt about, because we're throwing 3 players together. They've never played together as a trio. You've got Hatate with 1 game under his belt. You watch him there, it's as if he's played 50 games for Celtic. You've got O'Reilly who's coming in and, getting thrown into that side, and he looks so composed. What I like about him is his intensity passing, Laura. He's getting the ball, and first time he's passing it, he's taking corners left and right. And he looks like another one of these guys that's been identified to fit Angie's system.
Yeah, I was texting my brother throughout the first half about various things, and we got into O'Reilly, and my brother used the word neat and tidy, which I thought summed him up quite well. He seems to not really waste a pass. It doesn't look like he's giving away possession too much, which in that area of the pitch, although you're quite far away from the opposition goal, it's a very key area. You're not quite at the opposition's goal, but you're far enough away from your own goal that, losing it, that you can be susceptible to being caught on the break. So having players that are accurate with their passing there is key, and he definitely is that. I also mentioned before the game started that I didn't know about the level of play that he's had at MK Dons, or opposition that he's had at MK Dons, and whether he would be up for the challenge against Hearts. He certainly doesn't seem afraid to be getting stuck in. There's been a couple of times actually where he's looked like he's almost lost the ball and fought back for it and kept a hold of it and kept possession. So yeah, for anybody doubting, and I have always doubted that McCarthy was an Ange signing, for anybody thinking that, a random MK Dons player wouldn't be an Ange signing, I think you only need to take a look at what he's done so far tonight to know that he definitely is.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of these players that there's a whole backstory to it, Brian, where he was at Fulham. He wanted first team games. He's decided to, leave and take a wage cut and all that. And in the modern day, you don't hear much of that, do you? You see a lot of footballers who are quite happy, quite content to have a big, long contract and make the money. He's obviously ambitious, and he's come to Celtic, and it looks as though within that first 45, he's just grabbing this game by the scruff of the neck.
Listen, at 1.5 million, what a bargain this could be. 21 years old. I genuinely think I'm like Laura, I'm a bit excitable at times. I get a bit caught up in things, but without hyperbole, again, it's been a really, really, really strong first half for him. I think what I like about him is, Will's been neat and tidy, as Laura rightly said. He's also got a real eye for a pass, and his passing's ambitious as well. He's not playing the safe ball. Now you're making your debut at 21 for Celtic against Hearts at Tynecastle. The type of balls he's pinging about, that's really impressive. Just picking up something Laura said there about McCarthy and the Ange signings. I read an interview with Eric Sviatchenko, my big pal, today, and he was saying that he was approached to come back to Celtic, and he wanted to come back, and it was Ange that said, no, I want to pick the players that are coming in. So it was Ange that vetoed him coming in. So it gives me the belief that actually most of, if not all, of the signings are probably, maybe McCarthy aside, that seems the glaring one, but everyone seems to, so that seems to put to bed the fact that maybe Ange wasn't in charge at first. And just one other quick point about O'Reilly. You made a really good point there, Paul, about the fact he took a pay cut to play football, as did Joe Hart, another guy whose attitude's been incredible. And Ange made a really lovely point the other day where he said that he signs people, no players.
Yeah.
And you can tell because they're gelling together really quickly. There seems like a real unity in that squad, and that's down to Ange's man management and his eye for a player, and really special. I think I've said it before. I said at the start of the season, my expectations were low, but I genuinely believe we're in for something really, really special in the next couple of years.
Well, you two predicted 2 and 3-0. Both of your bets are still on. David Kelly thinks, like Laura, that Giakoumakis is going to score a hat-trick, which means we're going to have to win 4-0. But yeah, we didn't speak about Jota enough. And the big thing about Jota as well is his defensive capabilities. Left foot, right foot, he's getting the balls in the box. Can anyone tell me why he was booked with regards to the whole saga with him and Devlin? I mean, Robbie Nielsen's still giving the ref afters on the way up the tunnel. They're obviously feeling hard done by. Devlin just didn't. He was like Scrappy Doo in the Scooby Doo cartoons. Remember the nippy sweetie that just wouldn't give up? He was a wee bit like that, and it took 3 or 4 of his own players to calm him down as well. Yet he gets booked and Jota gets booked, and so does Taylor. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. But Jota's in the mood, and I'll tell you, if anyone's going to create again the third goal that really would put this to bed, I'm guessing it would be Jota, Laura.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw a player in a Celtic shirt who you were so convinced was going to beat a man every time he takes him on. He's just no fear in him whatsoever, and he has end product at the end of it. One of the criticisms I always remember about Aidan McGeady when he came through at first was that he had all the tricks in his book, but he maybe didn't have the end product. He certainly went on to prove that he had it. Jota's had it since he came in the door, and I think he's been absolutely fantastic for us. As for the booking situation, at a stretch you might say Taylor and Devlin deserve their bookings for what happened. I'm not even sure Taylor does, to be honest, but for as far as Jota's concerned, I really don't know what he did there, apart from trying to untangle his legs from the guy who seemed to be trying to keep the situation going. But in Devlin's defence, I mean, I've certainly been in a position where I've picked a fight with folk that could do me in. So,
We'll talk about that at full time. Leo Hatate has just struck the ball over the bar as well. We're into the second half. Thanks everybody for getting involved. We're 1700 live. If you're on YouTube and you've not subscribed, then get subscribing to us. Hit the notification bell. We are hurtling towards our fifth birthday, and Acsom will be doing something pretty special, as well as giving you free content every single day. So thanks everybody for joining us. Get involved in the chat and join us for the second half. I'm Paul John Dykes. Thank you to Brian Degnan and Laura Bradburn for joining me on A Celtic State.